Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This time I'll be reviewing the Golden Sun franchise and the Grandia franchise. Uh, so what do these series have in common? Well, first of all, they both start with G, but more importantly, they're both amazing. These are both amazing franchises. A lot of these games are going to be A tier, S tier. I'm just letting you know these are going to be top tier games. So I recommend you play them. If you're a fan of JRPGs, definitely these two franchises are on top. Should be at the top of your list if you haven't played them yet. So Golden Sun One, I'm gonna put it at least in A tier, if not S tier. But for now, I'll put it in A tier just because all these other games are also amazing. So Golden Sun One was great. Game Boy Advance classic. Um, and what's amazing is that it's even though it's like just a Game Boy Advance game, it might seem generic, but no, it's very very unique storyline, very unique battle system. This game was not generic in any way. It was very very unique game and great music as well. Sakuraba was the composer. He's the same guy that did the music for Star Ocean, Valkyrie Profiles, so it's good and just great. Just really the atmosphere. There isn't too much negative I could say about Golden Sun. It's very easy to get into, very easy to play, and yeah, just it's just one of those old classics that's just fun to play. Then we have Golden Sun 2, which I think I'll put in S tier. Golden Sun 2 is just a little better than Golden Sun 1. It just builds upon Golden Sun 1 and just adds everything, adds more characters, adds more Jin, adds all this optional content at the end of the game. The storyline just becomes amazing. Very, like I said, the story, it's not a generic storyline. It does not have a lot of the cliches that are very common in anime and stories in general. Like, I wish more stories were this thought provoking and out of the ordinary. So then we have Golden Sun 3. I don't know if I want to put it in C tier or B tier. I'll put it in B tier for now, just because it's a decent game. It's not awful, but it just doesn't live up to the standard that the first two games put. It doesn't quite live up to the name, and it's a lot of the same stuff, but it's just not as fun to play. Let's just put it that way. It just kind of loses it, and I really wish the franchise went on. I don't know if we'll ever get another Golden Sun game, but yeah, the third game just didn't quite live up to the standard of the first two games. As far as JRPGs go, it's still a decent game. The third game. Then we have Grandia. Let's see, Grandia One. Yeah, the first game I played was Grandia Two, but I'll do in order. So Grandia One is at least A tier, I think. I don't know if I put it below or above Golden Sun. So Grandia is a great game, and um, it's just a classic, really. Uh, yeah, so Grandia is a classic. Um, it's like a PlayStation. It's for PlayStation. Great game, great cast of characters. Despite the fact that the main character is only 14 years old, it was still a fun game. Uh, normally when the main characters are young, it's annoying. They're very childish, but Grandia was still fun despite all of that, which is very rare. So it really does show how great of a game it is, and it's kind of like an adventure, basically. It's a very very interesting game to play. Great battle system. Especially the part where you level up based on like what skills you use. So very non-generic, which is basically that's one characteristic of great RPGs, is that they're not generic. They don't just copy what everyone else has done. They're unique. So the games that are most memorable to me are the ones that were different. Because if they just copy paste everything, they're not that fun. So unique is good, but not too unique. Not unique like Unlimited Saga, where the game becomes awful. Unique in a good way. That's what you want. Grandia 2, I don't know. Like I don't know if I should put it above Grandia 1 or below it. Like I had a very good experience with Grandia 2. Like this is the first Grandia game I played, so I had a lot of fun. It really is hard to rank these because they're all amazing. They're like most of these, like I said, are at least A tier, and if not S tier. They're just very memorable games. Grandia 2, I played for PS2 many years ago, and it has that same Grandia battle system where you can cancel enemies' turns, and you actually think. Like actually, that's what's good about the Grandia games. Like you actually think. You don't just press X. You actually think about your actions, and you actually think about the order, and you can cancel bosses' attacks and prevent. You can actually stop bosses from using like powerful attacks just by canceling moves. So there's a bit more strategy in the Grandia series than you'll get in the typical JRPG. So yeah, a lot of fun and very unique storyline. Um, kind of dark. Yeah, I won't get too into it. I don't want to spoil anything, but um, there's definitely some deep thought provoking stuff in Grandia 2 as well. Um, let's see, Grandia 3. Okay, so apparently the third game in the franchise just never lives up to the hype. Um, Grandia 3, much like Golden Sun 3, just loses the standard. It just falls. It just does not meet the standards set by the previous games. It just wasn't as good. Wasn't as fun. Storyline was just kind of like whatever, kind of rushed and anime. Like basically, the Golden Grandia 3 basically follows a lot of these anime cliches, and just the game just doesn't live up to the standard of the previous games. And the battle system is much the same as Grandia 2, but I just wasn't as interested in the game as the first two in the series. So definitely, I would say these two are B tier. I would even rate maybe Grandia 3, maybe even below Golden Sun 3. I don't know. They're both B tier, which normally would be okay, but just that compared to these games, they're just the third games just aren't as good. Finally, we have Grandia Extreme. Now, this is a game that people either hate or they love. So I have a very interesting story with this game. I used to hate it. Like I would probably put it in C or D tier, probably C tier when I first played it, uh, and I couldn't really get into it. It was kind of hard. I couldn't figure out how to play it. I kept dying, um, and eventually, many years later, I played it again, and I finally figured out how to play it properly and actually think about what I'm doing. And I had a lot of fun. This quickly became like one of my favorite games ever. Like this is one of those rare times where I changed my opinion on a game very strongly, and just because I had so much fun. These days, now I can like speed through the game, and it's just fun. It's basically a fun dungeon crawler. It just uses the Grandia battle system, and it's all about battles. Basically, there's pretty much no storyline to this game, or there is, but it's not very good. So, if storyline is important to you, then you won't like Grandia Extreme. Grandia Extreme is all about the battle system. It's all about fights. It's a dungeon crawler, and it's a pretty good one. There's a lot of variety. It's never the same. No game is exactly the same because dungeons have like randomly generated items, and that's part of the fun of it. It's like you don't necessarily know what's going to happen, and you have to think about what you're doing. So yeah, I think this is S tier. It's actually my favorite Grandia, surprisingly, which is definitely not what most people would say is their favorite in the series. So I think I'll put Grandia Extreme up here with Golden Sun 2. Grandia 2, Grandia, Golden Sun. I think I'll put them in A tier, but honestly, if you put them in S tier, like I almost want to put them in S tier as well. They're just that good. So these 5 games, amazing. These 2 games down here, not so much.